The Nintendo Switch has been released over 1.5 years ago and has since become an indie game haven like no other Nintendo console before. Before I make the 10,001st video about what the best indie games on the system are or which games you should pick up in late 2018, early 2019, I find it way more interesting to go for the question, why? Why is it so beneficial for Nintendo and indie developers to publish their games on the Switch? And why are they so successful? Before we dive into this question, let me take you back to the days when the Switch was only an idea and how things looked for Nintendo back then. They were in a pretty tough spot. I mean, their mainline home console, the Wii U, was as popular as some hot poop on a stick, and consumers had a hard time getting what the console wanted to be or simply didn't like the hardware, especially its controller in the first place. I will never forget seeing a boy with his dad in my local electronics store wanting to have a Nintendo console, and his dad came to the conclusion that the difference between the Wii and the Wii U must be the controller, right? Yeah, times were dark back then. Due to poor sales, the third-party support for games got worse over time, and the only real reason to get the console was to be able to play all the Nintendo exclusives, which are great by the way, but a topic for another time. Over time, people compared the Wii U with the Dreamcast. That led to Sega dropping out of the console market. I find that comparison a bit over the top though. On the other hand, they had the Nintendo 3DS, a shining star on the handheld heaven. Even though people were forecasting its death with the PlayStation Vita and the rise of mobile games, it had proven to be able to stand its ground. And Nintendo made use of their opportunity and milked that thing like there was no tomorrow, by bringing a new iteration of the console almost yearly. But everything has to come to an end and needs to step back for something new. So Nintendo simply connected these two ends of the line and came up with an insane and mind-blowing idea they never had before. Why should we decide whether we make a new home console or a new handheld? We just make a system that is both. But we won't announce it as such. No, we will simply call it a new home console with a portable feature. So we can ditch the sloppy old Wii U as soon as possible and still sell the 3DS. So genius. And as mind-blowing and genius ideas always do, it worked perfectly well for them. Let's be honest here for a moment, the Switch is a new handheld and a new home console. I mean, just look at all the portable games that lately got announced for the Switch. Now we are coming closer to the main point of this video. The Switch itself made something possible that we didn't have before, which is the ability to play big game titles on a small device which can be connected to the TV and also be taken with you on trips. Not only mainstream titles and exclusives found their way on the Switch, but also many indie games did, with Shovel Knight and Snipper Clips being available at the console's release. And these were just the beginning. I mean, just browse through the eShop and look how many award-winning indie titles made it on the console. And since it became harder to make a list of popular indie games that aren't on the Switch, it means that these titles seem to do quite well for the developers as well as for Nintendo. The reason behind this becomes very obvious once you think about it. Indie games were a common thing on consoles long before the Switch even existed. But I still always had the feeling that people were preferring the PC to play indie games instead of the console. I mean, unless they were getting it for free due to their PlayStation Plus subscription. The PC and especially Steam always seemed to be the place to go when you wanted to enjoy some new, fresh and innovative indie titles. And there's a good reason behind this. I mean, you could get already cheap games even cheaper in the seasonal sale events. Are you ready for a miracle? And you can be sure that you will have the best gameplay experience and will always get the latest updates first. This leaves us with not too many reasons to get a game for the console if you could just get it on PC. Especially since it often was made hard for developers to push their updates to the virtual stores. With the Switch, it's a bit different though. This console is the first one that gives you a good reason to play your favorite indie titles on a console. Maybe even if you already got them on Steam. And the simple reason for this is portability. Being able to play these games on the go while still having the same or comparable experience as you have it on your PC is amazing. And I can see many people buying a game they bought for $5 in the last Steam summer sale again to be able to play it at work, at school, or wherever they want to. From a business and marketing perspective, it's also a very smart move. I mean, small developers are happy to publish their games to as many platforms as possible because they want to get their game and their name out there. They invested all of their free time into a game and an idea they believe in over several years. And for Nintendo, it's a smart and safe move without too many risks. They simply allow developers to bring games to their console which are already successful and which already have a big fellowship and great reviews under their belt. Why should it not succeed on this platform? On top of that, they don't have too many struggles with licensing and marketing, since most small developers have the #1 goal to get their game out in the big world of gaming and care less for profit, brand establishment and security, or marketing strategies than AAA developers and publishers do. Therefore, it's a win-win situation for both sides. And that's it for this video. What is your opinion on the topic? Are you playing indie games on the Switch? Let me know in the comments, and I see you next time!